going on, guys? Gino checking back in for another video today, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the lean bulk. Now the reason that I'm making this video is because I am a huge, gigantic fan of the lean bulk, since I don't really believe that you need to gain a lot of fat in order to gain muscle. So I want to make some things clear that might save you guys from doing a dirty bulk and gaining a lot of unnecessary body fat. Now lots of people are actually afraid to go on a bulk, especially if it's their first bulk. Now me personally, I was one of these people in the beginning. Most common reasons that people are afraid to bulk is actually because they're afraid to gain fat, and that basically they did a cut for nothing and they're gonna lose all their shreds. It's one of the most common misconceptions for a lot of people that in order to gain muscle, they think that they have to eat 5,000 plus calories and eat everything inside in order to gain just a little inch on their biceps. But I'm here today to tell you guys that is actually far from being true. Now if you look at these pro IFBB bodybuilders that go on an off season, you see them eating like a dozen donuts every day, or maybe even 3 dozen donuts. But what those guys are doing is like exactly the opposite of what we should be doing. You know, for those guys, they can do that, they can allow themselves to do that, because when they have to prep for a competition, they take hormones and the fat just basically like strips off. But for us natties, it's a little bit of a different story. Alright, so to start off this video, I'm going to be explaining some things about why you should do a lean bulk instead of going ham on all the calories. Alright, so number one, if you do a lean bulk, you will be able to bulk for a longer period of time. Me personally, I've been doing lean bulk since around 4 years or something, and I can basically allow myself to bulk up to a year or around a year and still maintain sub 15% body fat, or maybe even lower. And by being in a caloric surplus for a longer period of time, you are putting your body in an anabolic environment. I know this is not literally an anabolic environment, but come to think of it literally, you know, an anabolic environment means that you're putting your body in a position where it's actually beneficial to gain muscle, aka a caloric surplus. Alright, so number two is nutrient sensitivity. Nutrient sensitivity basically means that the nutrients that you put in your body actually get put to good use and get put to use for repairing the muscle damage that you're doing during your training. Now if you have a lot of body fat, nutrient sensitivity kind of goes downhill, since you're gaining more body fat, and the nutrients that you're taking in or putting in your body also go to fat storage, which is something you don't want if you want to gain muscle. Let's take a simple look at it. If you're shredded or lean and you eat a lot of carbs, you will get really vascular, for example. And that's one of the most common giveaways that nutrient sensitivity is at its peak when you're at least lean. You don't have to be shredded, but when you're lean and you eat carbs, you get better pumps, you get better veins, etc. That's nutrient sensitivity. And when you gain a lot of body fat, that goes to waste. Alright, so number three is you get to avoid unnecessary long cutting phases. Now if you gain a lot of body fat in a really short period of time, let's say I do a dirty bulk right now and eat 5,000 calories a day, I would have to cut again in 3 months. And that's basically a waste of time, because I'd get really strong in the gym if I gained that much weight. But when you think of it, if you have to cut every 3 months and then drop like 10 kilograms of fat every 3 months, that's not beneficial. And not only is it not beneficial, you'll basically feel like crap because you're in a caloric deficit every 3 months, and that's not a fun place to be. Alright, so number four, and this ties really in with number three, is that you're basically spinning your wheels if you have to cut every 3 months and then bulk for 3 months and get fat. You're basically going in a circle, or spinning your wheels if you do that, so it's not beneficial at all to gain muscle. Alright, so now that we have the reasons to do a lean bulk covered, I'm gonna explain to you guys how to do a lean bulk. Alright, so as you guys probably know right now, a lean bulk will allow you to stay lean year round while still adding muscle mass. And doing a lean bulk is pretty much really simple, but it can also be really difficult for some people who have low self-control. When in reality it doesn't really have to be that hard. It's just a couple of mind tricks that you have to apply so that you don't go overboard and actually stick to your diet. Alright, so step number one is that you have to be lean first in order to do a lean bulk. So this is pretty common knowledge. A lean bulk requires you to be lean in the first place. So what I highly advise you guys to do, if you're around 15+% body fat, or around 15%, is get to around 10% body fat. This will allow you to be lean and be lean in the first place, and then start a lean bulk so that you can actually bulk up to around 15% and then start cutting again, go back to 10%, go back to 15%, and there is a pretty large time frame in between those body fat ranges. So you can pretty much bulk for up to a year while still, seeing some abs, seeing some veins, and just staying lean in general while still gaining muscle mass and getting strong in the gym, of course. Alright, so step number two, if you're already at 10% or you're getting to 10%, is find out what your maintenance calories are, or in a really scientific term, TDEE. Now TDEE stands for Total Daily Energy Expenditure, which basically means what you use up every day, what you burn every day. So first of all you have your BMR, which is basically what your body burns in order to function properly. If you were to lay in bed like all day, your body uses up around, for a male, 1800 calories, and for females it's around 1600 calories. Alright, so what your TDEE is your BMR plus the amount of calories you burn through exercise, normal daily activities, your NEAT. Everything is basically you burning the calories, doing the things you do on a normal daily basis. Alright, so let's take myself for an example here. My TDEE is around 3000 calories. So what I do then is add a couple of hundred calories in order to be in a lean bulk. Alright, step number 3 is calculate your macros. Now this is different for everyone, but there are some general macro guidelines for you to follow to set up your macros in the correct way. Alright, so first of all you have protein. So the general guideline for protein is that you eat around 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now me personally, I weigh around 190 pounds, so I'm going to be eating 190 grams of protein. Alright, so there are a lot of mixed opinions about fats. But since fats are pretty beneficial for hormone production and the normal functioning of your brain, I advise people to eat at least 60 grams of fat. And if you're going to be doing a lean bulk, you can go a bit higher on the fats. Let's say around 60 to 70 grams of fat. But for this equation we're using 70 grams of fat. Alright, so what you're going to be doing then is multiply the grams of protein by 4. And the result of that is actually the calories that you're going to be eating from protein. Then you're going to be multiplying the fats by 9, since 1 gram of fat contains 9 calories. And that is the amount of calories you're going to be eating from fats. Now you're going to be adding those two together, which is around, let me see. Yeah, I suck at math, don't judge me. Alright, so you have 9 times 70 is 630 calories. And you have 190 times 4 is 760. Now you're going to be adding those two together, and then you will have 1390 calories from fats and from protein. Alright, so then you're going to be taking your lean bulking calories. Let's say for example 3300 for me personally. Then you're going to take off 1390 calories, which will put you at 1910 calories. What you're then going to be doing is you're going to be dividing that by 4 calories, which will then allow you to see the grams of carbohydrates that you're going to be eating for your lean bulk. Alright, so now that we have our lean bulking calories and macros calculated, we're going to be monitoring our weight gain on the scale on a weekly basis. You know, I personally weigh myself every day and take the average of the week. And that's what I highly advise you guys to do as well, because if you weigh yourself only once a week and you suddenly weigh like a kilogram higher, there could be multiple factors to that. And one of the most common misconceptions is that people automatically think that they've gained a lot of fat, when it could actually be water weight or more glycogen. Maybe you drank less or more water. Maybe you ate more or less salt. So what I highly advise you guys to do is weigh yourself every day, take the average of the week, and then see if you've gained or lost weight. Now, if you've lost weight, that means that you're not eating enough calories. So what you're then going to be doing is add another 100 calories on top of your lean bulking calories. And then do it again and again and again until you're gradually but slowly gaining weight on the scale. And that means that that amount of calories is your lean bulking calories. But what I also advise you guys to do is take a look at yourself at the mirror. Now, if you're noticing that you're gaining a little bit too much body fat, and you know the weight on the scale is going up pretty drastically, it's no longer a lean bulk then, and your calories are probably way too high for you to do a lean bulk, and you're gaining a lot of unnecessary body fat, which will then make you, spin your wheels, and you have to cut every 3 months and so forth. So then you have all the basics covered. You're now doing a lean bulk, you have your macros calculated, your calories calculated, and then you can focus on getting progressively stronger in the gym, which would then allow you to gain muscle and not gain a ton of body fat. The biggest reason that I wanted to do this video is because a lot of people gain way too much unnecessary body fat, and it's pretty much a waste if you've been cutting for a long time and then bulk for 3 months and realize that you did it all for nothing. So me personally, I'm able to bulk for around a year and stay at sub 15% body fat and only have to cut for around 6 to 8 weeks and get pretty much shredded again. Now, unless you like to walk around really buff with a little bit more body fat, that is perfectly fine, to each his own. Everyone has their own priorities and preferences, but for those who think that bulking goes hand in hand with getting a ton of body fat, it's far from the truth. As I'm going to be honest here as well, bulking brings a little bit of body fat with it as well. That's inevitable actually. You will gain a little bit of body fat during a bulk, that's just the way it is. But if you do a lean bulk, you will not gain a ton of fat and you can stay lean year round while still adding muscle mass. Alright, and that is it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to smash that like button because it really helps out the channel grow. If you know somebody who is unaware about the whole lean bulking thing, save that person from a dirty bulk and share this video. Alright, so like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys, and peace out. See you in the next one.